All right, Silhouette team, it's over to you.
Hi, I'm Jen Gallagher, and welcome to another Michael's Zoom class. I'm super excited to be with you today. What we're going to be making today are some die-cut gift box toppers. Now, when you go to an event or something like that, maybe a baby shower or a birthday party, you want to make your gift or your gift box or gift bag look as great as the gift you've put inside. So we thought it would be fun to design some special designs for you. Now, these designs that I'm showing you in this class are free through their end of the week, and I will share with you the numbers, and you'll be able to find these very easily in the Silhouette store. I'll even show you how to download one. But the concept is you're going to take a box or a gift card or a gift bag, and you're going to add something to it to make it extra special. So again, I'm Jen. If you have any questions at any time, just type it in. They will let me know that you've asked a question, and I'm happy to answer anything about the machines, my preferences, some tips and tricks, anything like that that I can help you with. Let's go ahead and do that. So the first thing that we're going to do today is we're going to create this gift box here. Now, these boxes are available at Michael's, as is the cardstock, and we're going to create this charming bow. So let's walk through how it works to download something from the Silhouette store. So let me share my screen with you really quickly. And we're going to actually go to the store and we're going to download one of these files. So I've got it actually pulled up here. But what you want to do is when your Silhouette software is open, you have the ability on the upper right to search for any design name. Now, you can search by name, but if I told you to look up a bow, you might get 100 different ideas. So the best way to search in the design store is by putting in the design ID number. Now, the first design ID number we're going to use is 352885. Again, it's free through this week, and you can see it comes up. In the upper left corner, it shows you the design. You just add it to your cart. You'll note that it says free. Then in the upper right, you just go to your little cart here, and you can actually check out. And I'm going to enter in my email. We'll need an account and my password. And you just sign in really easily. And then it may ask you to put in your password again. So the great thing is it keeps track of all the things that you are buying. Okay, just download it and it'll start downloading, and they download really, really, really quickly. Okay, once you have it downloaded, you can go back to your Silhouette and go into the design section or the library section. And mine's still, this is a new laptop that I'm using. So I'm signing in and I'm using the basic setup today. So it's syncing a little bit. While it's syncing, it's going to pull into your laptop or your image, an image that looks like this. Now, sometimes when a shape comes in, it may not look exactly like this. For instance, this is the cutting mat that shows on your computer, and this particular shape dropped nicely onto that cutting mat shape. But I can move the pieces around, and if your cut file comes through and it's not on the mat, you can easily adjust it. Thankfully, this is set up nicely. Now, I wanted to point out, you can see this long piece here. They have designed it so it cuts at the largest amount available for the 12 by 12 cutting mat. They've done that by doing this on the diagonal. So let's go ahead and get started. Once you've brought it into your design mat and you have your mat to the size that you are using, for instance, if you're using a portrait, it would be an 8.5 by 11, or if you're using a longer mat, it would be different. Now you get into an option to kind of change out what the cutting will do on the machine. For instance, on this particular one, in the upper right corner, I want to make sure that I am cutting on the cardstock textured heavy cut. So I can scroll down, find that. They even have cover stock, cardstock. So you can select the paper that you want to cut. And then for this particular cardstock, it's textured. So I have my blade set. See when I push this number, how it turns a little bit. Mine is going to a 5. And then we're going to send it to the machine. Now, before I do that, I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to show you what it looks like to feed it into the machine. All right, so we're back here. This is a Cameo 4 machine, and I have loaded my paper onto it with this cutting mat. Either side can go in. You have these little rollers here. You want to make sure that your mat is going to catch. It also has a nice little guide right here that allows you to do that. And then just hold the button to push it in. Easy peasy. Now from my computer, I'm going to push the button send, and it will communicate. My laptop's going to communicate with the machine and cut the files. So I wanted to point out with this particular cut file that you can do a couple of things. Now you can cut this particular file because it's simple. You could cut it from things like leather. You could cut it from vinyl. You could cut it from cardstock. You could do a smooth cardstock. You could do a textured cardstock. You could even do pattern paper. So depending on the occasion that you're going to, I would pick a paper or a material that matches with the box that you're going to use.
Okay, Jen, we have a question.
Yes.
Someone asked, what paper are you using?
I like to use a textured paper. So when you go into the Michaels paper section and there's the cardstock section, I looked for a dark teal. So whatever stock your Michaels has, just look for a dark teal, and mine does have texture. Almost all of the cardstock I use today has textured. If they have a basil there or they have their Michaels brand there, works great. So just a dark teal.
Okay, and then oh yeah, somebody else asked. They just have 8.5 by 11 paper. So can you make this project with that size of paper?
Absolutely. When you open up the software, you will get a mat option, and you can resize the mat to 8.5 by 11. Then all you have to do is highlight the entire shape and then squeeze it down to fit your mat size, and it's super easy to do. So you can cut this in any size. I can actually cut it to an 8.5 by 11 on this particular machine if I wanted to. All right, it's quickly cut out my shape. So I just push the out button, hold it down. And then you can easily peel it off, and it just cut like butter. Isn't that beautiful? So you get a couple of different pieces with this. You can see I had no problem cutting through that textured cardstock, just cuts beautifully. If you find that your machine is no longer cutting like this, you might need a new mat. And then after quite a bit of time, you can always get a new blade. So my blades actually last a long time. I don't even think I replace them once a year, and I use it all the time. All right, let's assemble this super cute bow. Let me bring all this stuff in that we're going to use. All right, move some things out of the way so that you can see. Now for this particular bow, I'm going to be using a glue gun. You could actually use whatever adhesive you like. You can use a dry adhesive, double-sided tape, glue dots, whatever you like. But because this is going on a gift box and I want it to be somewhat sturdy, I'm going to use a glue gun today. So let's walk through the pieces that you have. I have doubles here in case we want to make a second one. So the first pieces that you want to have is you have this super long piece, and it looks kind of confusing. So this piece right here is going to form the first bow. So I'll just put a little bit of glue onto this. Don't burn your fingers if you're using a glue gun, and just add some pressure. Now make sure that you keep this bow part open, okay? Because you don't want to squish it down. And then for the next one, there's a couple of different ways you can do this. You can actually form the bow like this and then attach it, but I like to do it like this. I'll take that open piece I'll add some glue. And then I'll place the first one on top. And there's a little rectangle shape that helps you get it right. Then a little more glue here. Again, folding it over, but making sure not to press down on that bow or you start to lose the bow shape. So this is the first bow. We're going to do the same thing again. This time I'm using the darker teal that we cut out. You can see that I used a softer teal, a lighter shade. And this is going to be the next level. Let me know if you guys have questions. It's a pretty straightforward die shape and I really like it. More glue on the back. Again, whatever adhesive works for you. I just glue guns really, really quick. And then we'll put some glue in the middle of the first one. And we'll place the second one right on top. And this actually has 3 levels, super fun. So again, you have your piece, your left piece, as we call it. Again, don't flatten that nice bow side. We'll add a little bit of glue on the top. So for each of the layers, we're doing the exact same steps. Glue on the back. Add that. Can add the glue in the middle here, and then we can easily place the third level. See how cute this is looking? Look how big it is. If you open it and cut it to size, this is how big this bow is going to be. So this would be really good on a really large bow. All right, inside the cut file, you have this little rectangle piece, and how this works is put some glue in the middle. And this is going to be our wrap, and it actually has a corrugated piece that's cut for you. Your machine will cut that for you. And you can wrap that around and then just add glue to the back. I've just thought of everything, so you don't have to do any folding. You can just do whatever you like. And then the final piece are the actual ribbon pieces on the bottom. So we'll add a little bit of glue on the back. Then we'll place this on. Now, for this particular piece, the texture's on the front, smooth on the back. I want the texture to show, so I will just glue it down like that. Now, this is an enormous bow. Now, I want to show you on my example that I resized it. Some of you are asking if you could resize it. Super easy. I made mine a little bit smaller so that it would fit. Now I want to show you how I put it on a box. So again, this is a box that I found from Michael's in their gift section. Just look for boxes and things like that. Obviously, you'll want to put the gift inside. Don't forget to do that. I have actually done that before where I decorated the box and forgot to put the gift inside. Don't do that. So I thought it'd be fun rather than just putting the bow on. So you could do it diagonally or like this. I wanted to add a strip or a band. So I cut 2 pieces of cardstock. They are 12 inches in length and almost 2 inches wide. And because this is a large box, you will need 2 of them. And then I just add some glue and attach them. All right, and then you're going to wrap them around, and these are going to be longer than you need probably. Or on this particular box, it's actually perfect. So just add a little bit of glue. And then I will use my fingers and kind of crease the edges a little bit. I just think it looks a little bit more sharp. And then you can add your bow by just gluing it on top. So again, make sure that you use this particular cut file. This one is on a diagonal. This one is straight on. So a couple of different options. So again, think about different papers that you can use. Think about how you can resize it. Maybe you can use different materials, different kinds of boxes. So that's our first cut file that we're going to use. Do we have any questions? Are we doing okay so far? Good. Okay, let me know if you guys have questions. All right, so we just got done using the cut file that is called 352885. And again, it is free through the end of the week. So be sure to jump on as soon as this class is over and download it. If you're watching the recorded version of this, you can still get it. You'll just need to purchase it. So the next one we're going to make is this charming little yellow bow. Now, obviously you can make it any color. This is one of my favorites. Now I've already cut everything for you, so you don't need to worry about that. The first piece we're going to use is this piece that has kind of the cut pinked edges, and this just goes as is. Now for the bow, you're going to actually do 2 of these. Like we've done here. And then you're going to add them here. And then let's pull this off a little bit. If you make a mistake, just rub off the glue, and let me show you how we did it here. So we have the 2 pieces here, and they're folded in half. I actually did this wrong. I apologize. So this piece goes like this. It's open like this. And this centerpiece goes in here. So if you make a mistake, just cut a few extras. No big deal. It happens. Craft accidents happen all the time. And then you fold it again like this. And then just like we did here, we're going to glue it right in the center of this little yellow piece. Now this particular bow has a couple of different details that make it extra special that I thought were really lovely. For instance, this piece here, when you cut it, you're going to remove each of these little center pieces here. And this is actually going to go in the center here. Just add glue to the middle. Don't worry about adding glue. And the reason why I wanted to use some different coordinating cardstock and some contrasting cardstock is that it stands out a little bit more because you have the dark, then you have the light, and then you have the dark. Again, in this particular cut file, you have one of the center pieces that wraps around, and it is perforated, so you can wrap that easily around. Again, get creative, mix it up. Try some different colors and try some different things to get the exact bow that you want. So super cute, comes together really easily. Let's glue this one back on the box. You can see that I've done a band here. And I put the bow diagonal. Again, for the bands, just 2 pieces of cardstock, you glue them together.
All right, Jen, we do have a couple questions.
Ask away.
So someone asked, they have a Cameo 3 and they're not sure if they can do this project with their Cameo 3. Can they do it with the older machines?
Absolutely. I actually have a Cameo 3 and a Cameo 4, and I used my Cameo 3 to create it. So any of the machines will work. The cut files work on any of the machines. The only differences in the machines is that the newer machines sometimes have some aspects that you might not have on older machines. For instance, this has an auto blade and it works just teensy bit different, but it will still cut. So you're fine. You can totally use it on yours.
Okay, and then one other class is, do you think these would work with fabric or a leather type material?
So you will need a different kind of blade in your machine. And depending on your machine, you'll need to read your manual instructions and see if you can. But depending on the machine, you can cut with leather. You'll just need a different kind of blade, and you might need a different kind of mat. So do some research on which material you're going to use. But I have cut felt, I have cut fabric. When I cut with fabric, I'll usually add a stiffener on the back. It cuts a lot better with the blade. But yes, you can. So just do some research on the machine that you have and make sure that you have the right blade, your machine can do it, and that you have the right cutting mat to do it. Any other questions? Nope. Fun. I'm excited you guys are asking. It's fun to ask. I have had lots of silhouette machines. I started with the portraits, and I've just worked my way up, and I tend to get the new ones when they come out because they're fun and they have lots of new bells and whistles. So yeah, any machine, just do your research. Again, for the wrap, you just wrap it around. This one is much, much longer than you need it. You can just cut it. Move it down. You can also leave off the band if you don't want to do the band. I just thought it added just a little bit more detail. Just think how pretty this would be at the holidays with some holiday colors. Could use some Christmas reds and greens or do some metallics. Whatever you want to do. Now I wanted to show you that these cut files can stretch more than just a gift box. So here's the gift box example. But I want to show you that it would look super cute on a card. So you may have a gift bag or something and you want to add something special to it, a matching card. So you can easily take this bow that you've created and put it on a card. Isn't that cute? So think outside the box, even though for this particular class, we're doing box toppers, a card is also really, really cute. So you can either do a box or you can do a card, whatever you want. So again, this particular cut file is file number 352883, free through the end of the week. Be sure to grab it. If you're watching the recording, you can still get it. Just search by that number when you go in, just type that in. It'll bring it right up. All right, we have another one that we're going to make. This one is fun. Now we're going to get into some more intricate ones. This particular one is just really, really cute. I was super impressed when I saw the design because it's very, very intricate. Okay, so when you're cutting something like this, I suggest that you slow down your blade a little bit. And sometimes if the cardstock is particularly layered and textured, I might even double cut it, which means that you send it through your machine a couple of times. Not necessary, that's just personal preference. All right, let's go ahead and build this one. Now, this particular cut file is extra fun because what they have done is in the center of the cut, there is actually a hole already done for you. And in each of the petals, there is actually a hole already done for you. And you may be asking, well, why would they do that? So here's why. I thought this was super clever. So in order to assemble this one, you can or cannot use glue, but the concept is that each of the petals are going to match up. I'm just poking the holes, but you don't have to, those holes are already there. And I am using an old foam, paper piercing foam piece. Just make sure if you're using a paper piercer that you don't pierce through your tabletop. But again, this one is designed so that the holes will all match up. Now it's designed so that you can add a brad, and because my brad, you can see this brad here that I'm going to use, it's a little bit broader at the bottom than the hole. I just use my paper piercer and just make that hole just a little bit larger. Super cute. So some tips and tricks when using this particular cut file is to use paper that is sturdy enough to pull those center pieces out. I did have some paper that was too thin, but I found the thicker cardstock, that 85-pound weight, did really, really well. A smooth cardstock that's a little thicker will do better. So for this particular one, you get two in it. So when you open it up, there's two on the cutting mat. There's two different shapes, and they're larger than the mat. So you will need to highlight both of them and shrink them. And if you haven't done that before, there are a lot of tutorials on how to do that. But basically, you just use your mouse, you highlight both of them, and then you drag the corners out and it enlarges it. You do the same thing to shrink it. If you are going to shrink them, make sure you shrink both of them at the same time, or else you'll get one file that's bigger than the other. So for this particular one, on the box, I actually only used one. I thought it was really cute with one, but I did want to show you an option with using both. So if you get both, again, when you're doing this cut file, it already has the holes. And because I'm using textured cardstock, I like the textured side to show out. If you're using a smooth cardstock, it's not going to matter which side you show it on. It's really easy to do. So some of my favorite papers to use would be anything with a texture to it, whether it's a waffle weave texture or a kind of roughed up texture. I love smooth cardstock. It's great. Just make sure, like I showed you in the beginning, rewind and watch if you need to, that you are using the cut file settings. When you go to send it to your machine, make sure you're using your cut file settings that coordinate with the materials that you've chosen, because then what will happen is your machine will slow down, cut deeper, do what it needs to do. Now, if you're not using an automatic blade, you will need to adjust the depth of the blade. And if you've done that before, you just use the little ratchet thing, you kind of turn it to get the perfect blade. So here's how it looks with both layers. Isn't that so beautiful and so delicate? Again, here's with one. Here's with two. Now, in the gift box section of my particular Michaels, they had different color boxes. They had black boxes and they had white boxes and they had craft color boxes. So mix it up. We're going to use a black box and it's smaller. Again, you can open it up and put a gift inside. You need to think of a gift to give someone. And we're going to add bands to this one as well. So because this one is a little bit smaller, I don't need too many bands. And when I give a gift, I always remove the sticker. Don't be that person that leaves the sticker on there. Be the person that removes it. So for the band, again, I'm just using the same color of cardstock, a little bit lighter shade. Let that glue set. Cut it off on the diagonal. Again, use whatever adhesive you like. And then again, I like to crease the edges a little bit. Do you have a question?
Yes. All right, Jen, we have another question. So someone asked if they aren't using the auto blade, what settings would you recommend? What blade settings?
So when you're in your software and it's already connected to your machine, when you click the send button in the upper corner, it shows you some different options. And what it will tell you is once you have picked your materials, so for instance, this is 85-pound weight cardstock. How to know that is most of your cardstock that is textured is 85 pound. Some of it is 65 pound. But once you've selected your material, then it will tell you what your blade needs to be. So you open up your blade drive, you pull it out, you put it in the little ratchet thing and you switch it. And what it will show on the little compartment for the blade is the number. It has a little red arrow and it will point to the number. So be sure to pick your materials first, then adjust your blade and then put your blade back in. And that's how you get the perfect cut. Just remember when you go back to cut something else, each time you cut with a different material, if you don't have the automatic blade, you do need to adjust it. Any other questions? Okay. So yeah, just check out the materials first. I always pick my materials first, and then the machine will tell me what I need to do. That's why you might want to upgrade at some point because you can choose things. All right, so we have our black box, we have our band, and now we can add our cute little flower. Love the glue gun. It just sets up really, really easily. So isn't that cute? So you can see the single just lays a little more flat. You can fluff it up as much as you want. Super cute. And I offset my two flowers a little bit. All right, we have one more cut file today. This one is super fun. So this cut file comes just like the other one does. It loads onto your mat and they're actually bigger than your mat. At least it did on mine. And I have a Cameo. And so it was a 12 by 12 mat that it loaded in. If you have the portrait, it will definitely load in longer or larger rather, and you just shrink it down. Or you can do what I did, and I kept it really, really large, and I cut it almost on the whole page. To do that, I selected the whole shape, I right-clicked on it and ungrouped it. Again, there are tutorials for things like this, but you can isolate the shapes. I moved the solid shape off and cut this one, went back into my software, moved this off the mat, this shape, and I moved this one back on. So for this particular one, what we're going to do is, rather than do the paper piercing, because it does have holes, I'm going to do something a little bit different. For this cut file, you want to lay it so that the texture top is facing up. You have a contrasting color on top so that you can see the colors underneath. Again, the texture is facing up. And then you're going to flip it over. The reason why you want to do this is because for today, I'm going to show you how to add a different center. So go ahead and push down that first piece. Again, don't crease these, leave these a little bit open. Wrap that colored coordinating piece across the top, press that in, and then repeat those steps for each of the petals. So you can use a paper piercer, but rather than use a brad to hold this one in place, I wanted to show you a different way to create this particular topper. Just building each petal. So there are a lot of different ways you can make this different. Use whatever paper you have on hand, or go shop the Michaels section with their paper. They have so many different beautiful pattern papers and cardstock colors to choose from. They also have several different silhouette finishes, or rather materials, that you could try different things. Just experiment a little bit. So this one takes a little bit more work because there's a couple different layers. Want to make sure each of your petals align. I hope you're finding this particular craft is pretty straightforward and easy. What I love about a cut like this, it's really easy to create, but boy, it sure looks beautiful when it's done. It looks like I spent a lot more time on it than I actually did. Then the final petal, they come out, it's no big deal, just add more glue. We're going to cover this center with something else so you can actually be a little more generous in your glue. Last petal. Smush it down and let it dry quite a bit. All right, so when you're thinking about the center of your flowers, you can choose different things. Like I said, this is designed to have a brad that goes through each of the holes, but you could add a pom-pom. Isn't that cute? You could add a white button. For this one, I actually have a button that I've tied with twine. This is just crochet twine. It's thread through a button. You can find buttons and crochet twine at Michaels really easily. We'll just stick that in the center. Now, again, you can put this on a box if you'd like. You could put it on a gift bag as well. So first, I'll show you what it looks like on the box. Pull off all those little strings. Aren't those annoying? I feel like I spend half my time pulling off the little strings. So see how cute it looks like on a box? But I wanted to show you, you can also do it on a gift bag. So again, just glue. Make sure your button is facing the right direction. And you want to let it dry before you move on and add something in it. But isn't that charming? Super, super cute. So this particular design cut file is 352882. Let me run through them one more time so you can see what they are. This is the double stack with a solid piece and the outside piece. This is 352882. This one is 352884. And again, it comes with two of these. This one is 352883. It's a bow and it has several different pieces. You can make it as large or as small as you want. And then the one we did first is 352885. So again, all of these are available for free if you download them through the end of this week. So be sure to go and grab them. If not, as I said before, if you're watching the recording, you can grab them at any time. You just need to purchase them.
Okay, Jen,
Yes.
since we have a little bit of extra time, we were wondering, some of our participants were wondering if you could demonstrate on the software, like screen share, how you resized for the
You bet.
8.5 by
That
11
is really
paper.
easy to show you. If you haven't done this before, it's going to change your life. Now you're going to be able to take every single shape and make it the size that you want. I'll show you two things. I'll show you how to ungroup, and I'll show you how to, let's see if I can get back in. Did I get kicked out? Pull up the meeting again. So whatever machine you have, you can do this for. It's not going to matter if you have the portrait, if you have an older Cameo, whatever works for you is just fine. The concept is the same. What I love about the Silhouette software is it's incredibly intuitive. So once I show you this, you'll be able to do it however you want. All right. All right. I just need the screen sharing option. And then I can share it with you. All right. Okay. So let's go back to the design store, or the Silhouette software rather, and let me show you how easy this is. Okay. So we've downloaded it. Now we're going to go to our Silhouette software, and mine pulls up like this. So again, open your shape, whether you use your library or you're just opening any file. I'm going to just open mine because mine are already downloaded. Okay, this is a perfect example. So you have two shapes and they're really, really large. So I'm using my laptop. So you would click and hold down your mouse and highlight it. Now, do you see how the boxes come up and it shows both shapes? Because you have two shapes, if you're going to use them both, whatever you're going to do to them, you want to do it at the same time. So I'll move my cursor up to one of the corners, and then I'll hold down the mouse and shrink. See how it's shrinking that? So if I wanted them both to fit, I just keep shrinking. And then I just select and move over and keep adjusting. Just get smaller and smaller. Super easy to do. So now if you wanted to make it larger, for instance, same thing. Hover over one of those corners, hold down your mouse and drag and drop. Super, super easy. Okay, say you have two shapes and you want them not to be on the same cutting mat. Now what you do is they're highlighted. I will right click. I'm on a PC. I right click and you see this little drop down menu that pulls up. You can pick group or ungroup. If your shape is already grouped into two, all you need to do, which this one is see now that I've clicked it, it has a box around it. If I click the other shape, it has a box around that shape. Now what you can do is move this off, and then you can move this one into the center. Now, again, if I wanted this to fill the whole thing, I don't want to just highlight one and make it really large, because now this smaller one over here doesn't match. It's too small. So I'll do a Control Z to undo my things. So anytime you do something to these two files, if you want them to stay the same size, make sure you do it again. Again, drag, undrag, group and move, you just select, or you right click. And if they are already not grouped together, you can pick this ungroup, then select and move. Was that helpful? Did that show you how to make them better sizing? So you can fit it to whatever size mat you want, and you can resize it even if you have the 12 by 12 mat. Any other questions?
We don't have any right now, but we'll just wait maybe a minute or so to see if any other ones come in before we end the class.
So let me stop the share. Just a couple of things about using the Cameo and things like that is I actually use mine nearly every day. So I keep it on my desk. I do suggest if you can find a dust cover, keeping a dust cover on it. Make sure after you use your mats, you recover them. They do come with a peel off thing. Make sure you stick it back on. They stay sticky for a really long time. For today's project, I used a standard mat, which means that the tackiness of the mat allowed me to pull the paper easily away. But we do have different kinds of mat tackiness. Some of them are a little more sticky. So depending on the material, again, do a little bit of research. You can visit the Silhouette site and they have recommendations. The mats themselves have some recommendations and instructions, but I used a standard mat. I used a Cameo for today. If you're interested in getting a machine, be sure to visit Michael's. We do sell the Portrait 3 and the Cameo 4, and they're wonderful, wonderful machines. They last forever. They're really sturdy. I really enjoy using them. They're quite easy. Tutorials are available all over the place. Definitely check out our other Zoom classes because we've done a lot of fun things with them. I highly recommend getting one if you haven't had one already. Some additional things that you can do with these particular projects, I would think about cards. You could put them on a scrapbooking layout. I thought it'd be really cute to cut out maybe like a little felt one of the bows for a little boy's bow tie. That would be super darling. So think outside the box. When you get a die cut shape, you can use it for a plethora of different things. Be sure to try different materials and things like that. And just give it a shot, just experiment. So again, we did 4 cut files today. Make sure you get all 4 because they're free. And if not, they're inexpensive and you can use them in lots of different ways. Any other questions? All right, I just want to say thank you for joining us today. Be sure to check out all of the Michael's Zoom classes. Be sure to visit Silhouette, both on Instagram and Facebook at Silhouette.Inc. And you can find out about our upcoming classes and all of the cool things that we have going on. You can find me at jengallagher.com. I hope you'll drop by and say hello. If you have questions about this class, please let us know. And we hope you enjoyed today's project.